Welcome back to the Crochet Crowdhouse with my friends over at yarnspirations.com. It's all about the hair today. We're doing Santa hair and elf hair. So what this is that the elf hair is actually a one strand that is done, and it is sewn just underneath. So you're gonna flip up this and you'll sew it across. I'll explain more in a bit. And the sides here are shorter, and it's just a matter of keeping in line with the pattern. And then in the back it's longer. And I will tell you that I did steam this so that the fibers are more straight. When you do this, you'll notice that there's a kind of a curve to it. You can kind of see it a bit here. So if you steam it and wet it and just let it dry flat, then you'll have nice easier hair to work with. So you have that. Now Santa's hair here is actually a big rectangle, and it is just sewn underside here, and then when I go to sew it I get it as close as I can to this brim. So it's a particular rectangle that is just one piece, and it goes around three of the sides, and then it just is sewn in. So when you go to sew, you're gonna go all the way around this and then go there. So the ears by this point have now been sewn on. I've actually sewed on the hat too. So when you go to sew the ear, you want to go to about the second one back, but you can eye it up if you want to go back further. And when you kind of position it, you're gonna kind of go there. Now when I sew on ears, I like to go through one side of sewing, and then I flip the ear, and then I sew on the back side so it's more stable, and that's something that you can decide to do. With the elf, I also did sew the ear. The ear actually is sewn right in about this area here, and it has the just kind of pointing up a little bit. Nothing too drastic. Now you will notice that there is frosted freckles. That's not on the pattern. This is just the pupils. I decided to have a little bit more fun with it and do that as well. So, and the hat has also been sewn on for this character as well. So without further ado, let's move along. We're gonna do the Santa hair first, and then we'll move on to the elf second. When we go to do the Santa hair, we have the number of rows that you will want to do as per the pattern, but I'd recommend just kind of match it to the pattern itself. So it's not being forced to be this height. This is the height that it was intended. So I want to just keep going back and forth. There's a set of 2 rows, and so you'll start off with a single crochet row, and then you'll finish off with a single crochet row up here. There's single crochet rows in between each one of these sections as well. So what I'm saying to you is that you may follow the instructions and then be slightly short. So just make sure that you can fit it to your character and add the extra rows just in case you have to. It is a 2-stitch repeat pretty much, and let's begin our journey. So let's begin. You are going to use the larger size hook that you've been playing with. In my case it's a 4mm. It does state 5mm, but that's what I adjusted to. And you can either chain 46, which matches the character, or go in sets of 2 just in case you've changed your box. So I'm just gonna do the sets of 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. So if you have to change your size, it's in sets of 2 like that. I did the 46 as suggested, and it does fit my character. Let's officially begin row number 1. So in row number 1, you're just gonna go second chain from the hook, and you're going to single crochet yourself all the way across your chain. And I would stay on the back hump of the chain itself to have a nice cleaner finish, and it gives you something more to sew to the project later. So 1 single crochet in each chain going all the way across, and put me on hold now. So once you come all the way across the chain, you're just gonna single crochet right into the end, and then you're officially going to begin row number 2. So row number 2 and 3 is the repeat for the whole duration of this. So row number 3 is just a single crochet row, so that will just have the balance. So if you have to change the size, you just keep adding 2 and 3. Let's begin row number 2. In row number 2, you're going to chain up 1, and you'll do 1 single crochet in the first. Michelle calls it a bean stitch. I almost think it's a cluster, but that's potato potato. So to do the next stitch, you're just going to wrap the yarn and then going in, and then pull through, and then pull through 2 and hold. You want to do that a total of 4 times. And what this is going to do, which I love that she recognized, is that this always pops naturally to the back side. So once you do it 4 times, you're gonna have 5 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 5. The very next stitch, you're going to single crochet, and you will notice immediately that you get a lump on the back side. So the next one is gonna be another bean stitch. So wrap and in, pull through 2 and hold, and do that a total of 4 times. So I just keep on doing it, and then when I physically see 5 loops on the hook, I stop, and then I finish it off. Okay, so there's 5. So yarn over, pull through all 5, and then single crochet in the next. So this is officially row number 2, and you'll see this going all the way across. So I'm coming up to the end of row number 2, and I'm second last stitch, There was a small rewrite, but if you're just finding our pattern right now, you will not even know that there was a rewrite done. So then the last bean stitch is in there, so just single crochet in the last one. So the difference is that when we started that, we chained 1 and we did 1 single crochet in the first. The way the original was written is that you chained 3, which is not right. So you're just gonna turn your work and then begin the 3rd row. So chain up 1 and you're going to single crochet in each stitch. Make sure you're consistent. So just single crochet the first one. See this one? That's the second one, and then the one in between the bean stitch is 1, and then the one. See, it's consistent, and you're going to single crochet yourself all the way across. So the whole panel is just rows number 2 and 3 going all the way, and you'll single crochet right into the end. So to do, then you're gonna go back to row number 2 after finishing number 3, and it's the bean stitch again. So chain up 1 single crochet in the first one, and then you're going to then bean stitch again. So you're just gonna go either the recommended amount of rows that Michelle suggested, or you can customize to your project and just look at it and make sure that it makes sense. So let's explain how to put that on to the project. So when you have the whole panel done, it's gonna be a big rectangle, and then you're just gonna wrap it. So you just wanna start on one side, and I put pins in. So I just used my pins and I pinned here, here, and here. I then took it and I wrapped it around, and then I forced it to pin, pin, and pin. And then what I did is that I pinned it on the corners in order to hold it. So what this was, it was pinned on the edges and on the top here, just strategized, and then as I'm sewing it, I'm making sure that I'm getting right up to where I need to go. So once you have that done, it's awesome. So it's been sewn all the way around, including the sides and down here. So it's a one-piece unit and it's wrapped completely. So that's something that you can decide. In the future, we'll come back with a beard and then a mustache, which will then attach under here, and then we'll cover most of the facial tones. So this would be how you would do the Santa hair. Let's move on to the elf next. So the elf, as I explained in the intro, is just a one strand that is going all the way across, and then you're just doing all of these downward motions. So when you look at it from this perspective, is that it's actually a straight line with all these kind of like hanging down like curtains. And then what you want to do is when you go to attach this, you want to pin here, and then you want to wrap it and pin to here, and then you want to pin to the edges to make sure that you have it. When you're pinning, you want to be conscious that the long strands are at the very back here, and the shorter strands are on the side. So the ear, you can go a little bit over the ear if you want to, and just kind of keep it loosely there, and that's something that you can do. It's a very, very easy way to do hair, and let me explain that in just a moment. So let's begin. I got a couple stitch markers there that you see. You're gonna need those, I think, just to make it easier for yourself. And I need you to chain at this point with the larger hook 45 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go all the way to 45. Meet me back here in just a moment. Once you have your 45 done, I need you to slip stitch to the second chain from the hook and slip stitch in, and this is going to be the start of the first hair. So to start the hair, you're going to chain 6. So chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is considered the short hair. If you were doing the long hair, it's chain 14, but for now just chain 10. Second chain from the hook, you are going to slip stitch across that chain back down to the original chain. And I'm going to show you an easy way to be able to keep count without excessively having to count these little hairs, because once you start getting a whack done, it's kind of harder to keep count. So we're gonna mark our rows that we're going to need in order to do that, or the stitches, I guess. So I'm slip stitching all the way back down, including the very last one, and to do the next hair I just have to go on the original chain, slip stitch into the next chain, and then chain 10 again. So here's the trick. You have to do a total of 14 of these. So if this is 1, the next one is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So mark the 15th one with the stitch marker. When you get to this one, you're going to change the height of the hair to chaining 14 and still single crocheting the second chain from the hook. So there's 16 of these. So starting in that one, count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So the 16th one here is the last time the long hair will be done. So what you can do is that instead of having to count these little pieces of the little hairs, you can look at the stitch markers and say, okay, I need to do all the small hair up until this point, and then the long hair starts at this mark. I'm gonna do the long hair, which is chaining of 14 for this section here, and then the one right after here I'm going to finish off with the short hairs. And so what this is technically the very back of the character if you were to look at it from this perspective, and so it'll hold down like that. So that's all you gotta do is just single crochet on the back chain and just keep on moving along. And if you put your stitch markers in now, you won't excessively have to count those little things, because I started to do that and then I started getting confused. So I realized that after I got here that if I just mark the next one with the stitch marker, I don't have to count and I can just watch TV and get it done. So that's something that you can decide. So let's quickly talk about assembly. So I told you in the introduction this has been steamed block, so I used a steamer to get the fibers to sit down. So when you do this, you're going to notice is that, see how it's kind of curly? It comes out like that, but if you apply a steamer or get it wet and let it dry flat, you will get more of a flat idea to it. So that's something that you can decide. Once you're ready to go, you're just gonna tack the front, this side and this side, and then once you have it stretched nicely, you're just going to tack it on the corners. And then you're going to use a long strand of this color and you're gonna sew it right up into just underneath this. So when you put the brim back down, it's just gonna be covering over top of that. What I'd also recommend is that you do have longer hair, just like you keep it towards the back on the back side, and then as it turns the corner go back to being short again. I also sewed on the ears. Now that the hair was in place, I sewed the ears on second, and then I also sewed on the hat. Then it's then continued to ready to go. So all I have left to do on this one here is to do the arms, and that's something that you can decide for yourself. So this is how you do the hair today, and next time I see you we'll start with something new. So have a good day and we'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.